The US government has issued active travel warnings for ports your cruise line is still selling excursions at, right now, today. And not one person at the gangway will tell you a single word about it. We pulled every US State Department travel advisory for every major Caribbean cruise port, matched them against real passenger incidents from 2025 and 2026. What we found will change how you think about every port day you've ever planned. 10 ports, ranked worst to best, real advisory levels. Stay for the final port, it carries a gold checkmark for safety, and it's almost certainly the one you're most afraid of. Worst to best. Starting now. U.S. State Department Advisory. Level 3. Reconsider travel. One level below, do not travel. Your cruise line is docking here and selling excursions with a smile anyway. La Romana has documented kidnapping incidents involving tourists. Not rumors, not forum speculation. Documented incidents that triggered the Level 3 classification. The port perimeter has security, but that perimeter is smaller than passengers assume. Step outside it and you're in Level 3 territory, with zero cruise line responsibility for your safety. The only smart move? Stay on the ship, order room service, watch a movie. This is not a joke. Never get off. Full stop. Jamaica carries a Level 3 advisory as a country. Highest violent crime rate in the entire Caribbean. Multiple robbery incidents targeting cruise passengers were reported at Dunn's River Falls in 2024, not inside the falls, but on the short walk between the transport and the attraction. The cruise line knew the excursion kept selling out. If you sail here, the only remotely protected option is a cruise line excursion that stays inside a verified resort complex the entire time. Even then, weigh the Level 3 advisory before you take a single step off that ship. Never get off independently. No exceptions. Passengers make a critical mistake here. They assume a purpose-built Royal Caribbean port means safer than Ocho Rios. Same country, same Level 3 advisory, same risk. The security bubble extends roughly 200 meters in any direction. Passengers who've wandered beyond the gate looking for authentic Jamaica encountered exactly the environment the State Department warned them about. Worth knowing, those colorful Georgian-style buildings look historic. They were constructed in 2011. Every inch of Falmouth is manufactured atmosphere. Stay inside the gate or stay on the ship. This is still a Level 3 country. The port design changes nothing. Nassau carries a Level 2 advisory. Exercise increased caution. The Bay Street corridor from the dock runs well-organized scam operations targeting cruise passengers. Counterfeit goods, inflated prices, and taxi fare manipulation hit serious numbers in 2024 and 2025. The whole system is friendly-looking and extremely practiced. The genuine crime risk is real, but concentrated away from the main tourist zone. The scam risk is concentrated in the exact areas every tour funnels you toward. The only move that works? Pre-book the Atlantis Day Pass before you sail. Go directly there. Come back. That's your Nassau. Anything else is walking into a system designed specifically to take your money. U.S. territory does not mean U.S. mainland safety levels. St. Thomas carries a Level 2 advisory, and violent crime rates are significantly higher than the U.S. mainland average. Then there's the Jewelry District. Charlotte Amalie is one of the most sophisticated tourist price inflation operations in the Caribbean. Friendly vendors, real-looking certificates, enormous markups against comparable products at home, and zero consumer protection once your ship has left the dock. The smart move? Pre-book a direct taxi to Megan's Bay Beach only. One of the genuinely most beautiful beaches in the entire Caribbean. Come back with time to spare. Never walk from the port independently. Pre-booked taxi only. Every time. St. Martin is two completely different experiences on one island, and most passengers only see the worst one. The Dutch side near the dock has documented port area street crime concentrated between the ship and the shopping district. It looks accessible and tourist-friendly. That's exactly why it catches people off guard. The French side, St. Martin is quieter, far less commercial, and significantly more relaxed. Getting there costs $12 on a water taxi. The smart move: skip the port strip entirely. Water taxi to Orient Beach. Better food, fraction of the crowd. Come back with 2 hours to spare. St. Martin isn't a bad port. The Dutch dock area is. Now you know the difference. No active U.S. travel advisory. Low street crime. Clean, well-run, beautiful water. But Grand Cayman has no cruise dock. Every ship tenders. If weather shifts, and it shifts fast, the entire port day disappears. No compensation. Nothing. If you do get ashore, Stingray City is genuinely impressive. Once. But with multiple ships tendering simultaneously, it becomes a crowded, rushed experience that rarely matches the photos. The smart move? Watch the app from 7 a.m. Only commit once tendering is confirmed. Go on the first tender out. Pre-book a smaller group operator rather than the ship's excursion. Physical danger is low. Financial disappointment risk is very high. Mexico mainland carries a level 3 advisory in several states. Cozumel is a separate island with a genuinely different risk profile. Experienced cruisers treat it that way for good reason. The problem isn't safety, it's crowd volume. On heavy ship days, 4 or 5 vessels calling simultaneously, popular sites become genuinely unpleasant. Every obvious excursion becomes a mass event. The smart move? Check cruisetimeeatables.com before your port day. Heavy ship day? Skip every obvious excursion. Rent a scooter, head south, eat locally, stay on the island. Ignore the mainland day trip offers completely. That advisory is real. No active U.S. travel advisory. No elevated caution language. No documented tourist crime patterns. Just Willemstad, a UNESCO World Heritage Capital city you can walk straight off the ship into. Dutch colonial architecture in vivid colors. Floating market. Locally owned restaurants with real food at real prices. No excursion needed. No taxi needed. No guide needed. Walk off the ship, follow the waterfront, eat somewhere that doesn't have a cruise ship photo on the wall. Come back when you feel like it. This is your free day. The Caribbean actually works when no one is trying to sell you something at every corner. Say, Colombia, in a cruise group, and watch the fear responses pile in. Passengers marking themselves as staying on board. Warnings from people who've never been. Here's what the data says. Cartagena's historic walled city carries no active elevated U.S. advisory for tourists. Travel safety analysts consistently cite the Old City as one of the safer walkable tourist zones in South America. The fear is almost entirely reputation-based. The reality is fundamentally different. The walled city is extraordinary. 5 centuries of Spanish colonial architecture. Vivid colors on every surface. Street food for almost nothing. Musicians in the plazas. A genuine, lived-in city with no interest in performing authenticity for anyone. The smart move? $8 taxi to the walled city entrance. Walk in. Turn right. Walk the walls. Stop wherever looks interesting. Eat when you're hungry. Leave when you're ready. This is the one port on this entire list where walking off completely alone, no tour, no guide, no plan, is the right answer. Every single time.
We are starting at the top, rank number 1. And this isn't just a warning, it's a closure in everything but name. For years, Labadee, Haiti was the crown jewel of Royal Caribbean, a private peninsula, fenced, guarded, marketed as perfectly safe, zip lines, beaches, private security everywhere. But outside that fence, Haiti was collapsing. By late 2024 and throughout 2025, gang violence and political instability reached a point that could no longer be ignored. The U.S. State Department now lists all of Haiti as Level 4, Do Not Travel. That is the highest warning level that exists. It doesn't mean be careful, it means do not go. Even though Labadee itself is heavily secured, the situation around it has become too unstable. Cruise lines don't want the liability. Insurance companies don't want the risk. So sailings are canceled, ports are skipped, and itineraries are quietly rerouted. If you see Labadee on a 2026 itinerary, do not get attached. There is a very high chance it will become a sea day instead. Number 2 is a tragedy for anyone who remembers cruising in the 80s and 90s. Acapulco, Mexico. This was once the glamour port, movie stars, cliff divers, the Love Boat era luxury. Today, Acapulco sits inside the Mexican state of Guerrero, and Guerrero is under a full U.S. State Department do not travel advisory due to crime and kidnapping. Some cruise lines still dock here, and that's where travelers get trapped. The tourist zone looks safe, heavily policed, controlled. But step just 2 blocks outside that zone or take the wrong taxi, and you are in cartel territory. This is not a port for independent exploration. If your ship stops in Acapulco, you have 2 smart options. Take a ship-sponsored excursion or stay on board and enjoy an empty ship. This is not the day to wander and see what happens. Number 3 is a bucket list destination with a secret many first-timers don't expect. Colón, Panama. You go here for the Panama Canal, and the canal is incredible, but the city of Colón itself has one of the highest crime rates in the region, and here's a telling detail. Crew members, people who travel the world for a living, often refuse to get off the ship in Colón. Muggings and snatch-and-grab robberies happen right outside the port gates. This isn't cartel violence, it's desperation. Do not walk into town. Do not wear jewelry. Do not flash phones or cash. See the canal. Get back on the ship. That's the safe play here. Number 4 is heartbreaking because it is stunningly beautiful. Roatan, Honduras. Yes, the island is safer than the Honduran mainland, but that creates false security. You relax, you drop your guard, and that's when problems happen. If you dock at Coxon Hole, the pressure starts immediately. Aggressive vendors, unregulated taxis, isolated tour routes. There have been armed robberies of tour buses and tourists on remote beaches. The rule for Roatan is simple. Stay with crowds. Use certified tours. This is not the place to rent a scooter and explore. Number 5. You know it. You love it. Montego Bay, Jamaica. Jamaica frequently sits at level 3. Reconsider travel. The issue here isn't just crime. It's persistent aggression toward tourists. No is not always accepted. Outside resort zones, harassment can escalate quickly. And if you engage with the wrong person selling party favors, situations can turn dangerous fast. Stay in resort areas and ship excursions, and you'll have a great day. Wander into neighborhoods alone, and you are on your own. Number 6 is Belize City, not the jungle, not the ruins. The city. The cruise port is a walled tourism village with armed guards for a reason. The south side of Belize City has serious gang activity. This is dangerous only for the DIY traveler. Book a cave tour or Mayan ruins, and you're perfectly safe. Try walking into town from the port, and you are taking unnecessary risk. There is nothing to see there that is worth it. And finally, number 7. The most controversial port on the list. Nassau, Bahamas. It's listed as level 2. Exercise increased caution. And the danger here is complacency. Because everyone goes to Nassau, people stop paying attention. Petty theft, tourist scams, unregulated jet ski operators. The U.S. Embassy has issued warnings about assaults near the fish fry area and on isolated beaches. Nassau isn't Florida. Treat it differently. Front pocket your wallet. Skip the jet skis. Stay in well-lit areas.
Cruise lines sell you the dream of a secluded beach and a cultural adventure. The reality? 3,000 people fighting for one chair and a 4-hour bus ride to spend 20 minutes at a jewelry store. I've been on dozens of these excursions over the years. Some were incredible, but 7 specific types I now avoid like the plague. And today, I'm saving you $1,000 and probably a sunburn too. The brochure calls it a cultural island tour. You imagine winding roads through lush mountains, local villages, authentic food, a real taste of the destination. Here's what actually happens. You spend 4 hours on a bus. You get 20 minutes at a scenic overlook where everyone takes the same photo. And then the bus pulls into a partner jewelry store or carpet factory where you spend 90 minutes being aggressively sold to while the driver collects his kickback in the back room. You aren't seeing culture. You're a captive audience for a sales pitch on a bus you can't leave. The smarter move? Hop on, hop off bus. Every major cruise port has one now. They synchronize with ship schedules. You get the same scenic route with commentary. You jump off wherever looks interesting. You jump back on when you're done. $10 to $15 per person instead of $80. and 0 jewelry stores unless you choose to walk into one yourself. This is the bucket list item. Grandkids love it. Couples love it. The photos look magical. The reality is less magical. Those pools are often overcrowded, and the water quality is questionable at best. For anyone over 55, or anyone with compromised immune systems, skin conditions, or open cuts, it's a genuine health risk. We're talking stagnant water shared with dozens of strangers and several large marine mammals in a confined space. And then there are the growing ethical concerns. Multiple animal welfare organizations have flagged these facilities. The tide is turning on captive dolphin experiences worldwide. Do you really want a bacterial infection on day 3 of your cruise? Or the guilt of supporting something the world is moving away from? The alternative? Book a whale or dolphin watching boat tour in open water. You'll see them in their natural habitat. The photos are better, the experience is more memorable, and you won't need antibiotics afterwards. The excursion says secluded pristine beach. That sounds incredible. Private paradise, crystal water, Instagram gold. But secluded means no facilities, no restrooms, no shade structures, no food vendors, nothing but sand and sun for 4 hours. For anyone in the 55 plus demographic, when you are return point sa tiamd, awananor or ikawing for a son, still was neurorini who drinks water and needs a bathroom more than once every 4 hours. This is a deal breaker. Rustic is code for dig a hole, and that's not an exaggeration. I've been on one of these. That is literally what happened. Before you book any beach excursion, check the description for the words, facilities available. If those words aren't there, assume the worst. Book a resort day pass instead. Sites like Resort Pass let you access hotel pools and beaches for $30 to $60. You get chairs, shade, clean restrooms, a bar, and actual human infrastructure. Same beach day. 0 survival skills required. Unlimited rum punch and snorkeling. Sounds like the perfect Caribbean afternoon. Here's the part they don't photograph. Getting on and off a bobbing catamaran from deep water requires climbing a narrow metal ladder while waves slam the hull sideways. If you're not 25 and athletic, this ladder is your worst enemy. Bad knees, bad back, any mobility limitation whatsoever. This is where the day goes wrong. And the snorkeling, you're looking at dead coral with 50 other people kicking you in the face, while the rum punch works its magic on everyone's coordination. The smarter play? Book a glass-bottom boat tour. You see the same marine life without getting wet, or find a calm beach snorkel spot through a local operator where you wade in from shore. No ladders, no deep water entry, no drunk strangers stepping on your fins. You're at Coco Cay, or Half Moon Cay. You see the cabanas. They look gorgeous. $500 for a private shaded paradise with a dedicated server bringing you drinks and food. Now here's what that $500 actually buys you. The food is the same free food from the main buffet, just carried to you on a tray. The drinks are the same drinks from the bar, just delivered. You are paying $500 for shade you could have gotten under a free umbrella if you'd walked 20 minutes further down the beach. The hack? Arrive early. Walk past the first cluster of chairs where everyone stops. Go further. There are always free umbrellas and loungers available if you're willing to walk an extra 5 minutes. You just saved $500 and got the same breeze, the same view, and the same rum punch. Pompeii. Tulum. The old city of Dubrovnik. These sound like once-in-a-lifetime experiences, and they can be, if you do them right. The cruise line version? A 2-hour bus ride each way, 45 minutes of walking on uneven cobblestones in 95-degree heat, with no shade. A guide with a flag walking so fast that half the group can't keep up while the other half is desperately looking for water. This isn't a history lesson. It's heat stroke waiting to happen. If you genuinely want to see these places, book a private guide through a site like With Locals or Tours by Locals. Go early in the morning before the heat peaks. Small group, slow pace, shaded stops built into the route. You'll actually remember what you learned instead of just remembering how dizzy you felt. Drive your own 4x4 through the jungle. Sounds adventurous, exciting, different. The reality? Those vehicles are often decades old with terrible suspension. You spend 3 hours being violently shaken on unpaved roads. The scenic stops are a roadside fruit stand and a goat. If you have a bad back, neck issues, recent surgery, or any spinal sensitivity whatsoever, This excursion will ruin the rest of your cruise. Not your day, your cruise. Because the pain doesn't stop when the Jeep does. It follows you back to the ship and stays for the remaining 4 nights. I watched a couple on my last Caribbean sailing limp through the rest of the week after a Jeep tour in Jamaica. They couldn't sit at dinner without wincing. They skipped their next 2 ports entirely. The alternative? Book an open-air safari truck where a professional driver handles the terrain. Same jungle views, same photo ops, but with actual suspension and someone who knows the roads. Your spine will thank you for the remaining 7 days.